Hello everyone, it's Retroaction, and welcome back to another Transformers review. He said Star Wars review. This is the third of the Transformers Legacy Stunticons, and this is where the problem lies, of course. We'll address the elephant in the room eventually, I'm sure. If you know this figure, if you have this figure, you know exactly what I'm going to be coming on to. This is Transformers Legacy Dead End. Released by Hasbro in 2022, he is the third of the 5 Stunticons, of course, to form Menasor, and the most problematic so far, but we'll get to that in due time. Right, anyway, first off, let's look at the box, just like all the rest. We've got Legacy, he's Deluxe class, released in 2022. We've got Dead End, we've got the artwork of him in vehicle mode, Tomy Generations, Transformers, Hasbro. We've got Transformers Legacy, it's another of the windowless boxes. 3 out of 5 to form Menasor. We've got artwork of him in robot mode with Cybertronian for his name. Got the, I'm not sure what you call this. It's kind of like the box battle from G1, kind of. It's like a painting of all the, it's artwork. It's like a group shot artwork of all the Decepticons from Wave 1, I think. So we've got Dragstrip, we've got Thunder, Skywarp, Ransack. It's interesting, that's on all the boxes, even though there's just Wave 1 characters being pictured. Mauler meets the eye. Weird tech spec, both modes. There's 15 steps to transform them, and there's Hasbro. So that's the box. I don't have the instructions with me today. I left them in the other room. But they're the same as all the others until we get to Evolution, which we will be, because I do have Breakdown, and he will be next. And I'm looking forward to it, because it's probably going to be one of the first videos on Breakdown. One of the first reviews on Breakdown. So, looking forward to that one. That'll be coming next. Anyways, here he is in robot mode, and one thing I would like to address is that the weight is a bit loose, but either way, we have his 2 weapons here, but they don't look anything like any of the weapons he held in the cartoon. Or, it doesn't even look like his G1 weapons, so that's a bit strange. They don't combine either, because they have all these ports coming off them, and they can't connect, so that's a bit weird. Because all the other weapons in this line can combine, until Evolution anyway. I think Evolution's got a new gimmick. That is the gimmick for the Legacy line, until we get to Evolution anyway. Either way, the road mode is actually pretty good. It's just the vehicle mode, which of course we're going to come on to that in a moment, I'm sure. Let's start here. It's got a fantastic head sculpt. It's a phenomenal head sculpt. It looks straight up. It looks like it came straight out of the G1 cartoon. In fact, this figure looks really good, minus the pins, of course, and the hollow sections, which is something to note. Right, so the articulation. Well, the head moves. You've got a joint at the shoulder, a rotation and bend at the elbow. There's a waist swivel that's really loose on mine because I have combined it to form Menasor, so that's something to be aware of. There's a joint at the hip, a bend at the knee, and an ankle tilt, ankle rock. So there you have it. Lots of articulation, just like the rest of them. He looks good. You can get into some good poses. It's a pretty cool figure. Looks really nice. So he's like firing and running. Yeah, he looks really good. I really like the silver paint on his chest there. Looks quite cool. It's meant to be like the chrome section he had on the G1 toy. He had that in the cartoon as well. But the head sculpt is phenomenal. The robot mode is really cool. He looks great with the rest, and yeah, so that's a good robot mode. I mean, he's got these panels hanging off his arms, but they've managed to, give them clearance, so they hit other things, and they don't look too bad. These wheels, you can do a few things with them, but there you have it. That is Dead End in robot mode. It's a good robot mode. Looks great. It's one of my favourites in robot mode. But here we come on to the vehicle mode. Right, so to transform it, what we want to do is we want to open up this section back here. Let's just bring his head in. Let's separate this part as well. So that goes in there like that. Let's bring this piece up. Oh no, we don't want to do that just yet. So now what we want to do is you bring these sections all the way up here, and they are going to connect like so. Well, this transformation isn't too disastrous if it wasn't for the quality control issues of this figure. That is. We'll come on to that in a moment. But anyway, let's just move all these panels out of the way. These parts move, so let's bring them up there. And you want to put the wheels there, like so. bring that together, and then all this is going to come down and slap into place. Then you bring out the bonnet and push it in. Can't remember what you call it in America. No, either way. Right, and then we come to the back here, and this is where the problem is, because what we do is just like combinables, we bring these whole sections in, but these clips are a nightmare, and as you can hear, it's quite violent noise, and getting this apart to take it back to real mode is a disaster. And now, if you can't see it already, we have these. This is the problem. So here he is in vehicle mode, and we have this gap showing at the back here, because the clips are, well, the clips, as you can see, I can push it back together. I don't know if this is the worst example. I know some people have had it worse than others. I'm not sure where mine is on that ranking. But as you can see, I can squeeze it back together, but it will not close up. And this is a major disaster for Hasbro. This should not be something in their products. And we'll leave it there. But either way, it's a good car mode, other than the back. It's just a shame. I knew this before getting the figures, and obviously, well, if I want to combine Menasor, I would have to deal with it. But as you can see, now I have heard you can like cut down the tabs, forget the word for it now, but this is unacceptable. As you can see, you know, either way, you can hide it kind of by attaching the guns in, but that is the big fault of this figure, and it should not be something to expect with today's figures, but unfortunately the quality control issues is something to expect with loads of things now, with all of today's Transformers, and that's not the way it should be. But either way, it looks good from here. You can kind of hide it, and once it's combined into Menasor, this does get better. But now I've taken it off, it doesn't seem to have improved. So that is just something that you want to look out for when you get this figure. You might be lucky, you might have one that doesn't have this issue, but I don't know if it's something, I don't know if they're going to make a new batch of them. And then, you know, if you get a newer batch, like the more they produce, you know, if you get one that's produced later, because I got this, well, I don't know actually, I don't know if mine was the first one to come out or not, you know, obviously I make thousands of these, you know, so maybe if you get one that was produced later, the problem will be fixed. I don't know, I doubt it, but it could be a possibility. But I've only seen one review so far, but this has not been an issue, so look out for this. This is a real shame of this figure, and it just takes it down for me, because this is a great car mode, but this ruins it, and this should not be something to deal with. And it's the only one of the Stunticons so far to have this kind of problem, to have such a big issue, and such a obvious issue, I think would be the word. And now there is a way to like clip this in. As you can see, this one wants to do it. Ah, they both do it, okay. Before they weren't doing it, so they now click in. One of these wasn't clicking in before, but you know, you kind of just have to squeeze it together and hope it stays, and it just goes back together. Just yeah, it does look. It did look better when combined on Menasor, but it's a shame if it only works on Menasor. You know, once you take it off, it just becomes that again. That's a shame, because this is a great car mode, just ruined by terrible quality control. But either way, the car mode itself is great. It's just this part at the back here, the rear, that's a real shame. As you can see, it should look like that, but it won't. I don't know if I haven't seen many pictures of it. I know people have seen it because I've seen it in other videos on this guy. And the Collector 75 did a video talking about Hasbro and everything, and he showed this. So that's how I found out about all this. But that was before I went and got this one, so I knew what to expect. Kind of thought this one would be affected, but nonetheless, it shouldn't be a thing. It should not be something you have to worry about when you're purchasing these figures. And that's the message.